Have you ever wondered about the various inaccessible rooms in Undertale's code? Do characters in the game seem to dislike your naming preferences? Or do you just like to spelunk the darker side of your favorite video games? Hello, I am Yield Opinions Head, and welcome to the next installment of my few observations about Undertale series. Without further ado, let's begin. Number 1. Is that ice? Many of you may remember the final X and O puzzle in Snowden, just before you fight Greater Dog. That puzzle is not the focus, but rather the transition between these two rooms is. Once you complete the puzzle, you can slide across a narrow ice bridge into some trees, and on the other side, you'll have one of many snow shapes on your head. I'm sure most players thought nothing of it, other than it being a funny gag. But look closely. There's something wrong with this picture. If you haven't seen it yet, let me point it out. There is ice on the floor on this side that is currently on screen. But if you remember, on the other side, there is no ice. How could this be? Not only that, but you start sliding where there is no ice and end up on some. Is the ground really just that slick? Perhaps Frisk is secretly wearing some Heelys. Or maybe this is an oversight. Who can be sure? Number 2. Reality bent. We all know of the teleportation ability that Sans has control over, being able to warp seemingly anywhere with his shortcuts. What many people overlook is that his brother also seems to have this ability, if not as strong. Papyrus is able to turn the human soul blue, which is a trait that only the Skeleton Brothers share. And it is believed that Papyrus' special attack would have been a Gaster Blaster, if not for the annoying dog. So what, you may be asking? Wasn't this entire entry about teleportation? And to that, I say, you would be correct. But these examples hold some relevance on the topic at hand. During the date with Undyne, Papyrus will excuse himself to the bathroom and throw himself out the window. Obviously, at a first glance, you'd assume this is him jumping out the window. If you look closely, however, he keeps flying in the one direction after he leaves the window. Now you may be saying that this could be a comedic thing, and will not be taken that seriously, but I have another example. After you spare Papyrus, he will literally fly off screen. Could this power be a juvenile attempt at teleporting? Is Sans off screen helping him out? Or does Papyrus hold much more power than we originally suspected? Side note, before I move on to the next points, I want to once again thank Kat for these first 2 ideas. He's been a constant help throughout these projects, so I really thank him for it. Okay, now on to the next one. Number 3. Spaghetti. Many people believe that Papyrus is addicted to spaghetti, often depicted as his main obsession in memes and fan comics. The truth is that Papyrus has never actually eaten his spaghetti, he just makes it for others after Undyne taught him how to cook. Papyrus is also quite knowledgeable about the other forms of pasta, since when you call him outside an elevator in Hotland, he will think the abbreviation of the elevator is for a form of pasta. The spaghetti lover persona most people give him is not accurate in the slightest. Number 4. A tutorial. Have you ever wondered why the ruins are the way they are in-game? In truth, the ruins is one big parody of RPG tutorials. The introduction with Fly parodies controller tutorials, which although it doesn't contain the cardinal sin of having the character tell you what buttons to press, it still parodies these kind of tutorials overall. Tutorial's name literally is just the word tutorial without the first syllable. The final point I'll bring up is how tutorial literally holds your hand many times in the ruins, which is a common complaint about bad video game tutorials. Are the ruins a giant spoof of video game tutorials, or am I overanalyzing this very simple area? Number 5. That's not so fun. Undertale contains random events that have a 1 in 100 chance of appearing on any given run. Some runs have them, some runs do not. The main thing I wish to speak of is the uneven distribution of these events. The wrong number song appears from fun values 1 to 39, which basically is a 1 in 3 chance in any given run to have the wrong number song play. On the other hand, the Gaster followers and Mystery Man only have a single number variable for them to spawn in. There are even values that do not have an event on them at all. Why are the fun values distributed like this? Could this be to make them more mysterious? Or does this uneven distribution have more of a mundane explanation? Number 6. An impractical joke. If you enjoy messing around with save states, you may already be aware of the practical joke that Sans can pull on you if you reload the last corridor on a 0 EXP neutral route. Sans will give you a secret code word that if you reload and tell him, will say is fake and will give you a secret code word, which if you reload once again, you can get the key to his room. After that, the protagonist will be stuck in an infinite void until Papyrus turns on his lights and asks if Sans was pranking you across time and space. The implication that both these characters have this knowledge further supports the notion that not only does Sans have at least some knowledge of your resets, but so does Papyrus. Could Papyrus having this knowledge say more about his actions, or am I overthinking this obscure, practical joke? Number 7. Names, names, names. There are many unique prompts that can appear when picking a name. Some of these will make you change the name if you try and pick it. These consist of the elusive WD Dasker, who will crash your game, and most of the main cast. There are 4 main characters who will allow you to pick their name, or at least as close as you can get to their name in 6 characters. Papyrus, Metaton, Alphys, and Napstablook. This is interesting for one main reason. They all have an affinity for humans. Metaton and Alphys have a human fan club. Papyrus seems enamored with capturing a human, and Napstablook is quite polite to the human, lowering their HP when attacked, inviting them to their house, etc. Is this a coincidence? Or could this be the reason why you can choose their names in the first place? Number 8. The Angel. The river person has a variety of quotes whenever the player wishes to take the ride on their boat. Many of these have speculated meanings, but I only want to speak of one today. Tra-la-la, the angel is coming. Tra-la-la. This quote may be foreshadowing the angel from Deltarune, but I want to speak of the game relevance, not of Deltarune. If the player talks to Gerson, he'll explain the prophecy of the Deltarune, in which an angel who has seen the surface will come and set the monsters free from the underground. This is probably alluding to the true pacifist and genocide endings. The true pacifist ending parallel is obvious. Asriel, who resembles an angel in his god of hyperdeath form, shatters the barrier, fearing the monsters. The genocide route, on the other hand, is referenced by the player mercilessly hunting down every monster who stands in their way, turning them to dust, and causing every other monster to go into hiding, avoiding the massacre, which at least visibly makes the underground go empty. Which prophecy prospect is true? If any. Perhaps even both. Number 9. President Dog. One of many of the neutral endings, the colloquially called Dog ending is one of the funniest, yet most tragic. To get this ending, you kill Toriel, Papyrus, Undyne, and Metaton. Only those 4, nobody else. Sans will say the underground is a better place during this ending, as a tiny white dog became president and just sleeps on the throne. This is the only ending in which Sans doesn't tell the protagonist to go to hell, immediately hand over the phone, or not be present if you kill Papyrus. There are 3 ways one can interpret this ending. Number 1. Although Sans is sad that he lost his brother and friends, the prospect of a tiny dog taking over is hilarious, which is keeping his spirits up, and distracting him from his death of his brother. Number 2. Sans is smiling through the pain, because he has become the dog's agent, similar to if you have Metaton become king. Or 3. This ending is a joke, and there's no deeper meaning to be gleaned from it. What's your opinion? Leave it in the comments, please. Number 10. A Different Waterfall. There are many rooms in Undertale's code that are unused in the game. Most of these rooms appear in Waterfall, but there is something interesting about some of these rooms. They all give off an eerie aura. For instance, room 123 has an NPC in the grass who asks you to do something about it. Your friend with the creepy smile. The worst part is that this friend supposedly disappears soon after this comment. Room 302 contains an echo flower, commenting about the water being soothing, even though this echo flower is on a thin stretch of cliff, surrounded by an abyss on 3 sides. Room 304 contains an NPC who's apparently rooted into a single spot, who asks about the world, requesting the protagonist to visit a room that does not exist. These rooms, although mostly unfinished, give off a vibe completely different from the base game Waterfall. How different could this stretch of the game have been if these were included? We may never know. And with that, this episode of A Few Observations is complete. Remember, if you would like to have your own observation featured in the next episode, leave it in a comment below. Have a wonderful day. Time for the unscripted part of the video. Thank you for watching, and I'm not sure what to ask you guys this time. If you got this far into this video without clicking off, I don't know, what's your favorite area of Undertale? I'm genuinely curious. Bye.